that for this header, what we are saying is that we are seeing that signature again as a field called as ARC message signature. So using this signature, actually the mail server will be able to kind of check if the email is actually coming out from a authenticated valid sender using its own public key, checking the public key and then checking if that public key is checking the public key and checking if that public key has been allocated to this domain d-t-t.in. Okay, so this is how dkim checks comes into action. So to kind of repeat, so overall, I understand, guys, there are a lot of, like, you might be a little bit bogged down with the theory, but I'm trying to kind of explain that with the real header and why it is important for us. So thing is that SPF is something, as I told, let me just quickly go through that. So SPF is something related to kind of IP address check. Okay, so SPF is IP address check. DKIM is related to the signature check. Okay, and now DMARC. Let's quickly figure out what the DMARC is. So DMARC is nothing. It actually kind of it's actually kind of a policy. Okay, it's kind of policy that is kind of set up in the mail servers. Let's say for an example, and what this DMARC does is that it's kind of policy. It's say that okay, if SPF is pass, if DKIM is pass, then let's allow the email. Okay, or else if SPF is, let's say, soft fail and DKIM is pass, then allow the email. Okay, or else is SPF is fail, let's say DKIM is equal to fail, then let's block the email. So DMARC doesn't do anything on its own. It's actually depend upon these two things, the SPF and DKIM, and then it's just kind of a policy. Actually, we decide, okay, what's to do with this email. Should I block it? Should I forward it? Should I send this email into quarantine? So this all decision is taken by the DMARC. Okay, by this policy, by the DMARC policy. So I hope this was a quick kind of understanding. Whenever you see this kind of headers now in the email header, the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, you now know that okay, what all thing happened with that email and if it is a valid one or not. So if I see any kind of a email and I see that okay, the DMARC is equal to pass, that means both SPF and DKIM actually passed, or let's say it was the highest level of authentication, and that email is not a spoofed one. So let's say you got an alert that okay, one of the client is telling that okay, yeah, the client has potentially received a suspicious spoofed email, and if the user revert to you, so what you do is that you ask the user to send the email header, you ask the user to send an email header, and you verify the email header, and you quickly see this three field, SPF, DMARC, and DKIM, and you can kind of tell the user if this all thing has passed. You can tell that okay, this email is potentially not suspicious, and then you can kind of also you can do some kind of text like okay, if there's any kind of URL in this email, just kind of quickly analyze that if it is kind of valid or not, and if it is valid, you can tell the reporter that it is actually a valid email and it's not something suspicious. Okay, so now guys, you know okay what this terms SPF, DMARC, and DKIM is, and I wanted to spend some more time in SPF because there are a few more fields in this SPF. So let me quickly kind of figure that out and tell you guys about that part. So give me 1 second. Okay, so now the thing is that give me 1 second, almost there. Okay, so there in the SPF there are 5 different kind of fields. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through that one by one. So the thing is, again, it is necessary why I'm dealing with this story part, because this field will keep on changing, and you need to know as a software professional what all these terms means. Okay, so in the SPF, the first one will be the pass. Okay, and what the pass means? Pass means that the client is listed as an authorized for sending email. So client is authorized, for example. Okay, the next field that you will be seeing is none. Okay, none, or you might see something like neutral. Okay, what this means? So this means that it actually means that there is no policy listed. So I'll try to explain that in much more detailed way. Then, so this is two fields, none and neutral. I will try to explain that. Let me just quickly see if I have written some notes for that. Okay, so if the SPF check returns none, if the SPF check returns none, it means that the domain owner has not published their SPF record. Okay, and the email provider cannot verify the sender identity. Okay, so this is something that you need to know, that for the SPF to pass, you need to know that, okay, what's the authorized list of. So what happened is that whenever, let's say, I am setting up a domain, I will actually say, okay, these are the authorized, I will actually display, these are the authorized MTA, these are the authorized MTA and its IP address, okay, associated to my domain. Okay, so when it will be passed, it means that your MTA has actually checked with that authorized list and figure out that that IP address belongs to the list of authorized MTA, and then it gave it a pass. And now let's say I have not disclosed this list to you. I have not disclosed this list to you. In that case, what will happen? You will see something like none, so which means that my domain has not published any kind of list of authorized MTA and its IP address to be to the whole public. And that's where you will see none in that case. Okay. Now there's another field, what I told as neutral over here, neutral. And what that means is that if the SPF check returns neutral, it means that SPF record contains an explicit uh, neutral statement indicating that kind of a domain owner neither approve nor disapprove the sender IP address. So thing is that again, none or neutral is something similar. So in neutral, what will happen is that my domain will not tell you that, okay, if that IP address is authorized or not authorized. Okay, if you ask to my domain. So this is all about none and neutral at a very high level, what that means. The next field that you will be kind of seeing is most of the time is soft fail. Okay, and what this soft fail mean is that actually it is something between neutral and fail. Okay, between neutral and fail. So what does so the other field that you will be seeing is fail, which means that I have actually submitted a list of authorized MTA for my domain, but the website, but let's say the domain that the email that you received from the IP address is not in the list of this authorized MTA list. In that case, directly the SPF will be failed. Okay, but soft fail means that it is something between, like, it is not failing, but it is also not, like, it is between neutral and fail. Okay, in that case, you will be kind of saying that, okay, it is soft fail. So it is something like most probably it should be blocked, but the MT is not able to decide it should block it or not. Okay, so this is all about like soft fail, uh, fail, none, neutral, and let's say or pass. Okay, so whenever you see those kind of fail over here, so like instead of pass you see none, or instead of pass you see fail. So you can quickly figure out from the email header analysis that if it is kind of a malicious or not, or do you need to do certain more investigation to kind of quickly kind of do a final, can come to final conclusion that that email is malicious or not. Okay, so I hope this email header analysis what was kind of a mix of both theory and lab, and you were able to kind of understand the email header analysis in much more detail. The only reason why I picked this topic is because as a SOC professional, you will be encountering a lot of incidents where you need to kind of do the email analysis, and you need to figure out from where